advisory program. And I think Jim is going to be talking about that later on. And if you do not know your APNP ANPC member, please reach out to any of the ANPC members. Lynn is here, Alex, Jim, Bessie, and all the other ANPC members, and they will be more than happy to assist you. So the ANPC launched this program in order to primarily communicate with all the affiliates, because we had seen that there was a little bit of lack of communication, that it wasn't always happening due to different leadership, difficult circumstances. Some associations may, go up or not have proper communications with us. So that has actually been very, very helpful. Now, what we're trying to do through the colloquium is we want to see how can we get more involvement with different kinds of tools. For that, we have invited our 3 distinguished speakers, and we actually want to thank all of them for participation. It's Amira, Salama, Amany, Elkhayat, and Scott Douglas. I will go through their bios, but I personally know 2 out of 3 of them because of our other communications. So Amira is here on behalf of TESOL Africa, and that is a regional association in the African continent that has been very, very active, and we would like to hear how do they help other associations and how can we work together on that aspect. Amany is going to talk to us about virtual reality and how they cope with the difficult situation in a very, very difficult area of our world in New York State. And Scott, I hope you all remember Scott from yesterday, from the Research Professional Council. He's going to talk to us and give us some insight from the BCTO journal. I will be moderating the discussion, and I think we're ready to start. Amira, would you like to start, please? Welcome.
Thank you, George, for the introduction, and thank you for this opportunity. I'm very glad that we are here today as AFrikatsisu, and I have a few slides that I would like to share with you. Can I share screen? Yes.
For sure, yes.
Okay. Actually, my involvement in AFrikatsisu started at TESOL convention. Back in 2017, when I was at TESOL conference as the Nile TESOL president, I met Ayman Sheikh, the current AFrikatsisu president, and we had a conversation about all the wonderful work that AFrikatsisu was doing at that time, and I was very interested, and since then our conversation did not stop. And I'm glad that I'm still involved in AFrikatsisu. And today I'm going to share with you some of the things that we have done during the pandemic, and also some of the things that we hope to do in the future, and also explore ways for collaboration with TESOL affiliates. But before I start, I would like to give you a little bit of a quiz about Africa to test your knowledge about Africa as well, because not a lot of people know much about Africa. So I'm going to give you the question, it's true or false, and please type your answer in the chat box, okay? Ready? Yes. Okay, first question. Africa has 53 countries. Is it true or false? And don't Google it, please. False, true. False, true, okay. Different opinions. Well, it is false because Africa has 54 countries. Okay, so if you hear someone saying, I'm going to Africa, please ask which country, because Africa has 54 countries. It's not one country, it's a continent. Next. The most widely spoken language in Africa is English. Do you think this is true or false? I'm testing your knowledge again. False. True? Okay, some people are not sure. So it's false, because the most widely spoken language in Africa is Arabic due to the number of speakers in the continent. English comes next. And also there are a lot of other languages, and this is actually the third question. There are more than 2,000 recognized languages in Africa. Do you think this is true or false? False, true, true, true. Okay, I guess you're guessing, but it is true. Yes, Africa is very rich in linguistic landscape and also culture. So yeah, you're doing well so far, I guess. So I'm going to now shift to AFrikatsisu and talk a little bit about AFrikatsisu as an association. Our goal is actually to work with African teachers and African affiliates and the teacher associations to help advance the work and the teaching and learning of English in the continent. We are a continental body, a regional association. I'm glad that TESOL is reaching out now to other regional associations for collaboration, not only to TESOL affiliates. We have done a lot of projects with other TESOL affiliates before, and I'm going to share some of these today as well, and invite you to get in touch with us for future collaborations. But one thing, I'm sharing this photo, I've chosen it on purpose because this is from our conference last year in Abuja, in Nigeria. And just to give you a little bit of context here, working in Africa is very challenging, but it is very rewarding. In this conference, in this particular photo, we had a logistical problem during the conference, and the presenter had to give his presentation while the audience was standing. So it was a standing presentation from which we got the idea for our conference this year, actually, to have a session that is called standing presentation, where the presenter stands up and presents in this kind of informal setting. So that was inspiring, although it was very challenging at the time to deal with it, but it gave us opportunities for the future as well. This is the board of AFrikatsisu, and we have board members from across Africa. Ayman Sheikh is the president. He is from Sudan. Okan Ifyong is a current TESOL board member, and we are proud of him. And he is also, he is from Nigeria. Myself, I am based in Egypt, in Cairo. Hind is from Sudan, and Rejoice from South Africa, our publications coordinator. Flavian is our professional development coordinator. He is from Benin. Marie is our treasurer. She is based in Senegal. And our webmaster, who is like a non-voting member of the board, is based in the US. So we have a very diverse and a big board of directors who are all committed and dedicated to the mission of AFrikatsisu. Our affiliates are also a big part of the association, and we have currently 22 affiliates. 2 are from Sudan, so Sudan is represented twice. And I wish like we could have all of our affiliate leaders with us today, so they can also talk about their amazing work with their affiliates, but I will try to shed light on that as well. We have affiliates in West Africa, North Africa, in different parts of Africa, and we work with all of these affiliates in collaborative activities. And I think this is the unique model of teacher associations because our affiliates are an integral part of our work, and we always expend our efforts to work with them, and they are really a big part of our activities. Well, like talking about the new heights, I think it started with the pandemic. And we had plans as an association to support our teachers and members before the pandemic that quite changed it actually after the pandemic. But I would say it gave us more opportunities to reach out to more teachers in the continent and beyond. We had plans to hold our annual conference, our 5th conference in Abidjan this August, but we had to change the plan, as many of the other teacher associations had to do. We also had planned activities for teachers that were inspired by the pandemic because we believe that empowering classroom teachers and giving them a voice in teacher associations is integral and is a very important aspect of leading an association. So the pandemic gave us the chance to organize events that were led actually by classroom teachers. And this was happening in our first event that took place after the pandemic, which was the AFrikatsisu weekly discussions. And I'm glad to see many of you who were attending our weekly discussions here today as well. So during these weekly discussions, the speakers were not really popular names or famous names, but they were classroom teachers. And we did this on purpose because we wanted to hear from them about their experiences. And because during the pandemic, as all of us were doing, classroom teachers were the leaders. So we wanted to hear from their experiences, and the weekly discussions gave us the chance to hear from them, to know what challenges they had, how can we help them as an association, and we learned a lot about their context as well. And putting the title here on purpose, the idea of weekly discussions during COVID-19. I'm not talking mainly about online teaching, talking about emergency remote teaching, because in Africa, because of the infrastructure, online teaching was not really taking place in all the countries. Some countries were deprived of this internet connectivity, so teachers had to find creative ways to stay connected to their students, like, for example, using radio lessons or TV lessons. So it's not online teaching. To be more inclusive, I prefer to use the word or the term remote, emergency remote teaching. So it includes online teaching using online platforms, and also other mass communication tools like radio and TV. So during these weekly discussions, we learned about our teachers, how they were going out of their way to accommodate their students, and also it was a chance for them to voice their concerns and also their needs that we are currently planning to work on. So it was a great chance for us to organize these weekly discussions during the month of April and May. We had the participation from countries across Africa, from Cameroon, Benin, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Angola, Mali, Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau. These were the countries from which the speakers came from, but we had attendance from all over Africa, and actually international attendees as well. Because we wanted to also celebrate what our African associations were doing, we provided a series of decentric ELT webinars that took place in June, during the month of June, where we featured speakers from across the continent, and also international speakers who were talking about their experiences in submitting proposals for PD projects and activities to support other teachers. And this was really an inspiring and an exciting event for our affiliates and members to attend to, and also to chip in and participate in the future. And I'm very glad that TESOL as well is offering this chance for affiliates now. I think it's a great opportunity for affiliates and affiliate members to learn about. We also, in addition to all of these events, also we are organizing our monthly webinars that takes place every month. We had speakers from different countries, and we're also looking forward to having more speakers in the future, not just from Africa, but also from around the world. So if you're interested in becoming one of our webinar speakers, please get in touch with us. I'm going to share our contact information at the end, so you can get in touch, and we will be glad to have you in one of our webinars. We are also starting our first series of panel discussions. We started last Saturday. The theme was personal, professional, and leadership development. You see, the pandemic is inspiring us with a lot of activities to do for teachers who are busy. Every month we have events, and this month we have the panel discussions that will feature also African leaders in the process to talk about their leadership experiences and also the challenges that they have in their context. I'm trying to go fast because I'm aware of time. Our resources actually that we offer for teachers, and we make them available for everyone. So you can check these resources yourself, even if you're not a member of AFrikatsisu. The first one is our publication, the newsletter. And we had an intention to make the issue this summer, the newsletter issue dedicated to teaching during COVID-19. So we have voices from different affiliate leaders and also from classroom teachers in Africa talking about their own experiences and what they have done through the pandemic to get in touch with their students. The issue will be out very soon. Please keep an eye on this. It will be posted on our website and also on our social media platforms. Also, we have our YouTube channel that we post all the recordings of our webinars and PD events. So feel free to visit our YouTube channel, subscribe, and also get in touch with us if you have any questions. In addition to this, as I mentioned before, because our affiliates are an integral part of our work, we also do joint events with them. And many of the events that I have mentioned are organized in collaboration with our affiliates in Africa, working with the leaders and also the members of those affiliates. We also collaborate with international language teacher associations. We collaborated before with TESOL International in holding our first conference, and also in getting the support of the leadership of TESOL International to attend our events and our conferences. Also, we collaborated with AFrikatsisu in organizing a number of pre-conference events last year and previous years, and also doing projects for classroom teachers, currently focusing on teacher research projects, doing this with AFrikatsisu. We are interested in collaborations with more international TESOL affiliates and teacher associations. So please, if you are interested in collaborating with us, get in touch. I'm going to share the contact information here. You can become a member of AFrikatsisu by filling in a membership application form on our website. Also, this is our email address, afrikatsisu@gmail.com. Please get in touch if you have questions, if you would like to explore ways for collaboration. And this is my personal email address as well. I would be glad to answer any of your questions. One last thing before I finish. George, how am I doing with time?
2 more minutes.
Okay. The last thing is, because our conference was postponed to 2021, we are planning to have an online symposium in August. That will be an opportunity to offer for our African and international audience as well. It will be held on August 15th, and you are welcome to join us. It will be open access, and the information on the speakers will be available on our website very soon. That's it all. 1 more minute, sorry, George, because I promised my affiliates, our affiliate leaders, that I'm going to show a video. I wish that they could be with us today, but they sent me their videos, and Hind, our Secretary General, has helped me create this video. So thanks, Hind. I'm going to show you just like 1 minute video of our affiliate leaders saying hi. So 1 second.
Sure.
Greetings from Malian Association of Teachers English, Mali. Greetings from ANELTA, Angolan English Language Teachers Association. Goodbye.
Hi everyone, my name is Yunus Kiran and I am an English foreign language teacher from Dayo City, South Morocco.
Greetings to people. I am Skanda, National President of the South African Teachers of English. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is William Amira, President of the Tanzanian English Language Association. The National Section of English Language Teachers Association of Nigeria. I want to say we are proudly associated with.
Hi, I am Issa Watara and I am the current chairman of Burkina Faso English Teachers Association, BITA.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amir. I think it was very insightful, and I've personally attended lots of your events, and I think they're very, very interesting, and I would suggest that everybody attends. They're very interesting at very convenient times, and they're all recorded, and you can go always back and watch them on the YouTube channel. Amany, are you ready?
Hi, everyone. I hope you're staying well and safe in these hard times. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, our SIG, our special interest group, is brand new. We got the approval last year in the 49th conference, NICE TESOL conference. It's based in New York City. And before saying anything about our special interest group, I'd like to thank our president, who actually, she was really supportive, Laura Becker, Cynthia Wiseman, and Leo Schmidt. These are great leaders in our NICE TESOL affiliate. And so when I was first the director of online communications at NICE TESOL, and then I talked to Cynthia Wiseman and then Laura Becker and Leo Schmidt about that we have to have a technology special interest group. And they really, they were up to it. And I also explained the idea behind this group. It's not only for ESL or TESOL educators, it's also for instructional designers. So it's going to be like an interaction among EdTech practitioners and TESOLers to work on the latest teaching methods and theories in second language acquisition, computer-assisted language learning, and any relevant instructional designs. Because at TC, at Columbia University, when we design stuff, sometimes students think of stuff that relates to ESL students. And then when we work as a group, because I have my first MA was in TEFL, so we always talk about theories, how this technology would help the users, the second language learners. So in order to make sure that mobile apps, websites, virtual reality tools are effectively used in the classroom, and they're also effectively designed. So this is the idea and the vision behind creating a special interest group in terms of that would make interaction between all those professionals, and to bridge the gap between instructional designers and teachers, educators, students, and things of the sort. And that's why our webinar series, they collaborate tech tools, design, theory, and practice. And also we are planning, we didn't have approval yet for a one-day online conference that is hopefully going to be in multiple platforms to reflect the nature of our special interest group, in which we're going to invite people who teach in virtual reality platforms or teach online, in order to make teachers aware and to train them on how to use these tools that are online, especially now during COVID-19. Many teachers, like, I'm going to talk about this in short, like we had to train lots of teachers on using certain applications, and it was really wonderful seeing all those teachers keen on knowing the most up-to-date technology. And not only was our special interest group the one that was giving those workshops, it was everybody, all interest groups in NICE TESOL. They were inviting, the presenters were invited, and actually the one who was on top of this was our president, Laura Becker. But today, I wanted to talk about things that we did before COVID-19 and things that we did after, because actually what happened during COVID-19 was that the idea that we proposed at the beginning, talking about virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality, and inviting people like Heike Philipp, like Professor Jasmine Cohen, and others, it was really, it was shown when actually you can see that Oculus Quest disappeared from the market, and many people started going on virtual reality and many startup businesses actually started creating virtual reality platforms and classes. So immersive learning, why? Especially AR, MR, and VR, because it supports embodied and extended cognition. So the learner, while they are inside the virtual classroom or the virtual reality platform, they sometimes can have access to things that they can't have access to it in reality. They can travel virtually to places that they can't do it while, even if there are traditional classrooms or face-to-face classrooms, students can do this also in the classroom. And we're going to see examples in short. It gives learners, especially those with disabilities, the opportunity to experience environments that wouldn't be available for them due to safety or distance, like, you know, in some platforms like Second Life, Altspace VR, you can fly, you can walk in the street, you know, there are cars and stuff. So a teacher can give students an activity they will see their avatars. Yes, some platforms, they don't need the headset. So like even Altspace or Second Life, students don't need headset, but they can see their avatars, or they can see the places, and they can interact with others. Many realistic situational communication activities can be developed by ESL, EFL teachers, such as job interviews, restaurants, or international airports. Like in some of my classes, I teach business English. So I told them, okay, let's go to Engage VR. And this is outside class hours. Please, you know, put on your formal uniform, and we're gonna do some, you know, interviewing skills, or, you know, whatever. It depends on the unit or on the learning objectives. So as students, you know, get excited, and they feel like, you know, this is something very interesting that they can do. Especially, I have many examples that I had encounters with students during COVID-19. So one of the workshops included many examples, like Google Expeditions, and I have added a list of available expeditions. I think it's like over 900 expeditions that students can use in the classroom. And the thing is, the most important thing about that is all of them can be used for ESL students. So students can write something about a volcano. So it could be a writing example, what they saw, what they, you know, what they experienced. So it could be a writing task. It could be a speaking task. So Google Expeditions is an immersive education app that allows teachers and students to explore the world through their over 1,000 virtual reality or 100 augmented reality tours, like art galleries and museums. There's also the Merge Cube. And also this was one of the workshops that we've had. And this is Merge Cube is like, it's a 6-sided light-weighted foam cube, and it's very cheap. And each side of the cube transfers into lifelike augmented reality and virtual reality images when students view it through their phones, headsets, their iPads. And also you can just use Google Cardboard, I guess, in order to view it. So it's not expensive. And there are many apps that work with Merge Cube and can be transformed into English speaking activities or writing activities. So for example, this is an app, and it has over 16 games. And this was one of the vocabulary handouts that a teacher created. And so these are the vocabulary that the students will see when they play the games, so that it could be like a warm-up activity. So when they finish playing the games, they can start writing something about it. So it's really interesting to see something like that, a cardboard that's very cheap. It will engage students in the classroom instead of having the students, because, you know, we teach students who are really involved with this stuff. Like sometimes when I talk to my kids, they say, yeah, we know this game, it's a VR game or it's an AR game. Yeah, and you see them very engaged. So basically, we need to do something that would be a fun and learning experience, and at the same time, students come up with something. There's also one of the things that were discussed in one of the workshops is Google Arts and Culture. So teachers showcase architectural wonders of the world, and it is Google Arts and Culture is an online platform where students can view 360 degrees videos where they experience things like going inside a space shuttle in VR, or step into the Orion Nebula, or meet a prehistoric sea dragon, or see dinosaurs in a Museum of Natural History. And there are many places around the world that students can see on this website, not only the US, many other places. I remember in this workshop, the presenter showed us something that is in Syria. It's like something similar to a mosque, but it's not a mosque. It's a khan, and she said that, you know, students won't be able to see this art anywhere, like they won't travel. So let's bring it to them and see it in 3D. So it was really wonderful to see stuff like that. And actually, we had lots of great feedback from the teachers who attended our webinars about these workshops, especially the ones related to AR and VR immersive environments. So this is also one of the examples, virtual worlds for teaching language. And basically, this is one of the platforms where teachers can, you know, discuss or where teachers can or learners can engage in practicing English. And it's one of the very interesting websites. We saw a demo where students can, you know, are in a restaurant and they can ask for food, and they are given certain handouts in order to what kind of vocabulary words that they can use, or in a hotel and so on. So it's more of an immersive learning experience that students can experience using the language in virtual reality, and it's something that they cannot experience, you know, outside the classroom. You know, if you go to a real restaurant, you won't be able to practice that with even role plays. You don't have the surroundings and the things that would enable you to ask for you know, food or stuff like that. One of the workshops was very brilliant, and it was by Heike Philip, and she really went through I don't know, it's like it was a big number of virtual worlds, 3D and virtual worlds, and there was some sort of criteria in exploring these worlds. So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So she talked about Second Life, and as you know, as many of you know, it's a free 3D virtual world where learners can choose and customize their own avatars, and they can also teleport. It's really awesome to teleport from one place to another, and chat in voice or text. It's really wonderful, especially when there are conferences for ESL students or for second language learning, and when speakers are chatting, or you know, they are giving many tools for students to learn from, and you can just copy and paste the conversation and then put it on a Word file. Also, there are many institutions that have places to train ESL students, and some of them are free. So, and also you can just take the students on Second Life and then, you know, experiment and experience. They can change their avatars. And so it's a very learning experience. I know it's not only ESL, but also technical learning. But, you know, this is learning skills, the 21st century learning skills, and we need to teach our students these types of skills. So many studies explored and examined virtual worlds like Second Life, and most studies, they say, or most studies that I've read, they said that they facilitate learners' listening comprehension and oral performance, and the way they play an effective role in inhibiting the affective filter and reducing anxiety. So many students, sometimes EFL students or ESL students, sometimes they are reluctant to express themselves, especially in speaking in the classroom. So once they are—
Amany, sorry to interrupt you, just a couple more minutes.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so these also some of the VR virtual worlds that we also that the presenters talked about. So Allspace VR, Active Worlds is really good. So there were criteria in terms of, does it run on a PC, mobile phone, or all kinds of devices? You know, we need to to tell the teachers what kind of platforms they can use. Do they require a headset or not? Are the avatars customized The environments, are they customized? What actions teachers can perform on these platforms? What are the ways of communication, text, voice, and so on? It was a really great presentation by Heike Philip. And actually, the future of immersive education, I believe that big part of it would be virtual reality. Lots of organizations now or startups are doing VR classrooms and AR classrooms, and you know now like Amazon, AWS, and other platforms. During COVID-19, it was of course an emergency, so we had to serve teachers according to their needs, to their immediate needs. So we did Google Classroom, Padlet, digital storytelling, Quizlet, engaging students in the classroom, flipped classroom. And it's not only us, all NICE TESOLers under the leadership of Laura Becker. She was the one who actually asked everyone to, to do these workshops for teachers, and she's the one who took the initiative. These are the references, and this is our, we hope that you attend virtually our 50th TESOL International Conference. It's going to be in November, and this is our contact for number for the SIG, and this is our website, and this is my email, my personal email, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Amany. Thank you very much. Scott. You're muted.
It seems
there
that
you
we
go.
Constantly. Hello, everybody. So I will just, first of all, I will stick a link down here for everybody to the BC Teal Journal. And then I will share my screen. There we go. Okay, so I'm Scott. Oh, and let me set my timer as well, just so that I make sure that I don't talk too much. Awesome. Well, wow, such a great job from the other panelists today. I was getting kind of nervous as they were talking because they were doing so well, and it's hard to come last. But I'm from British Columbia, and so we're going to talk a little bit about our journal, the BC Teal Journal. And I'm the chair of publications for BC Teal. And BC Teal stands for the British Columbia Teachers of English as an Additional Language. And so I'm coming to you from the Okanagan. And so I live and work on the traditional territories of the Syilx Okanagan First Nation. And the local language where I live, it's called Insilixchin. And my Insilixchin teacher, his name is Flynn Wetton, and he taught me a few phrases to share with you to get us started. So I'm just going to say to everybody, wait, that means hello, and kinlimpt puchyap, which means welcome in the Okanagan language or Insilixchin. So as you can see, that's my university there, and we have the lake in the background. And so this is where all the work for the BC Teal Journal takes place. And so today's topic was about reaching new heights. And so here in BC Teal, British Columbia, if you've ever looked on a map, we're quite far away from everything. We're really on the periphery of the world, especially people like me who live in a valley in the middle of nowhere, interior of British Columbia. Yet, our teachers are doing all kinds of great work and creating knowledge, but it's very hard to share that knowledge with other people around the world. And so we started to think about, well, maybe we need our own venue to help encourage our members to become published scholars. And that's where this BC Teal Journal came about. We were inspired by affiliates, TESOL affiliates from around the world. We would sit in British Columbia and look jealously at the TESOL Journal or the NICE TESOL Journal, and we thought, gosh, I wonder if we could do that as well. So we took a lot of inspiration from other TESOL affiliates. JALT Journal is another one in Japan, next TESOL Journal. And so we started to think about, okay, well, let's create our own journal. And we were committed to it being double anonymous, peer-reviewed, which means that the identity of the authors and the identity of the reviewers are kept confidential from each other. We really also wanted to have something that was grounded in a sense of place. And so this was about teaching English as an additional language in British Columbia, and with articles that would be meaningful for our own members and that relate to a British Columbian context. And so to get started, we approached a local university, the University of British Columbia, and they helped us out because actually our budget is $0 per year. So I'm going to show you what you can do in your affiliates with absolutely no money. Okay. And so where did this also come about to? There's this real commitment in BC Teal to open and free dissemination of knowledge. We don't think people should have to pay to read a journal. And we also don't think people should have to publish in order to be in a journal. And so we've worked really hard at getting our journal out there for the world for free. We're indexed by the Directory of Open Access Journals. We're also indexed by ERIC. But you can see down in the bottom corner there, there's this Creative Commons attribution, non-commercial, no derivatives license as well, which means that anyone can download our articles, they can reprint our articles if they want. They just have to give attribution to BC Teal first. With the caveat that it has to be for non-commercial purposes. So please don't download our articles and then sell them to people. Mind you, that'd be amazing if someone wanted to buy them. But so a little bit of the history behind it. The way we got started, so as I said, we were inspired by our sister organizations around the world, such as NICE TESOL or WASOL down in Washington. So we went to the BC Teal Board of Directors and we created a new position called the Teal Publications Chair. So traditionally BC Teal, we've always had a newsletter. And the newsletter editor was on our board of directors, and we've reconceptualized that role now to a publications chair, where other people now can be editors of the newsletter and things like that, all within this one sort of committee that reports to the board. We started in 2015 when the motion was first passed to create the BC Teal Journal, and we then went out and we started getting friends from all over the province to join our journal advisory board. As I mentioned before, we went to a local university as well. And in the library there, we asked the librarian, hey, how do you start a journal? And what can we do? And will you help us for free? And they said yes. So I suspect maybe your local universities might be willing to help too. So we're using a platform called the Open Journal Systems. It comes from Simon Fraser University, which is another university in British Columbia, but I believe this platform is used all around the world. We then started asking people in BC, would you like to be peer reviewers? We had a call for submissions that went out in 2015, and then our first issue came out in 2016, and then we've published every year since then. So we're now in our 5th issue. We're now putting together the 2020 issue of the BC Teal Journal. And as I said too, there's this real strong commitment in BC Teal for open access. Why? We actually think it's an ethical imperative, right? We think that people have a right to know what other people know, and we want to share this with the whole world. And that's why I said anybody can come and look at our stuff for free. So why should your affiliate have a scholarly journal if you don't already have one? I think it's a little bit how in BC Teal, the way we conceptualize our members, we don't see our members as being teachers, and we don't see our members as being researchers. We actually have this concept of the scholar practitioner. And that's where we're all, the very act of teaching itself is an act of knowledge creation. And that knowledge deserves to be shared with teachers around the world. And so we see our members as having an inquiry stance where we're students of learning. And so if I'm a teacher, I'm a student constantly finding out how is it that I do my craft better. But that needs an outlet, right? And a scholarly outlet such as the BC Teal Journal. There's also this idea that you've heard a lot about teacher well-being lately and mental well-being. Well, in BC Teal, we also have this concept of intellectual well-being. We think if you're a teacher and you want to be satisfied with your career, it's not enough to have that work-life balance. You also have to have an intellectual life where you're engaging with your fellow members. And so this idea of contributing back to the community's resources, it actually feels good, and it helps our intellectual well-being. and also, it fits with our mission and vision. And so in your organizations, if you look back at your mission statements or your vision statements, if you have them, I think the key words that sort of shine out of our mission statement, what you could say BC Teal pivots on, our main pivot is professional development. And so when you're thinking about professional development, what does that encompass? Well, part of that, once again, is intellectual well-being and having an outlet for knowledge creation. And so the BC Teal Journal is just one facet of all the different Pro-D. Pro-D is how we call professional development here. Pro-D for our members. And like I said, we've always traditionally had a newsletter. And a newsletter, some of you might have magazines. And but the BC Teal Journal, while it's also open access and it's created by volunteers and it's Creative Commons, the BC Teal Journal, it's a little bit different than a newsletter, right? Because it takes longer for the articles to be published. The newsletter, heck, if your timing is right, I can have your article published in 3 days. But with the BC Teal Journal, it can take 4 to 8 months to maybe a year before your article is published, because it goes through this whole peer review process. Also, the articles are much longer in a journal. So I'll tell you about that a little bit in a minute. So BC Teal, we're all about Pro-D, or professional development. And so we started to think about, well, how can our members become involved? And we thought, well, they can read the articles, they can be authors, and they can be peer reviewers. And so what do we publish? So the BC Teal Journal, as I said, the articles are a bit longer. So full research articles. And by research, I mean that spirited inquiry, right? Like this desire to know. So it's not be what you consider traditional scientific research, but we think of it quite broadly. But they're about 8,000 words long plus references. We also publish essays that are about 4,000 words long, and we welcome book reviews. The newsletter articles are maybe only 500 words. So you can see there's quite a difference between a newsletter article and the BC Teal Journal. What do we publish? So now, as I said, we're in our 5th year of publication, and it's all kinds of topics. We're talking about, so in Canada, we have high rates of newcomers who come to our country. So we talk about teaching English to newcomers, English for academic purposes at the post-secondary level, articles about teacher development, Pro-D, and teacher education, K-12 contexts. So it's really quite wide. The only thing that we focus on is teaching English as an additional language that connects to British Columbia contexts. So there's the 2 latest papers that have been published. I get such a kick out of laying out the papers. They look like real journal papers, don't they? Anyway, it is a real journal. So, but you can see there, the one on the right-hand side is a traditional research article written by Natalia Balyasnikova, and she was looking at people learning English in Vancouver, in the Vancouver East Side. And then we have another article by Callisto Madzingwa, and he was looking at the language instruction to newcomers to Canada program. And his is more of an opinion essay. So you can see that's just some of the articles that we publish. So different than a newsletter, there's 8 stages to putting together an issue of the BC Teal Journal, from submission all the way to publication. So like I said, anybody can submit an article to the BC Teal Journal, and there's no charges, but there are some rules. You shouldn't be sending your paper to other journals. It should just come to us straight, first of all. You can only really submit 1 per year. And everything is going to be going through double anonymous review. And but once you're ready, and there's all kinds of other things. We have quirks, like you have to learn Canadian spelling. Don't worry, I'll help you with that. But there's things like that. Then the first thing that happens is it goes to desk review. Usually that's me as the editor. And I'll just see, do you fit the focus and scope of the journal? Actually, I do a search, Control F, British Columbia. If you don't mention British Columbia at all in the article, I'll send it back to you and say, hi, we're the BC Teal Journal. Maybe we do publish articles written by other people. For example, we've published articles from members of NICE TESOL, New York State TESOL, but they worked hard at connecting it to BC. Then it goes out for peer review. Our peer reviewers are typically BCTL members, and our philosophy for our journal really is that we want you to be successful. So what we were finding was when before this journal started, BCTL members, they were sending articles out to other journals, and they would get these rejections back saying, these are 3 reasons we're rejecting your paper. And it was quite demoralizing and crushing for some of our members. And I saw people just stop. And they're like, no, I'm not going to be involved in academic publishing anymore. So what we do instead is, instead of saying these are 3 reasons why we reject you, we actually try and find, here are 3 ways we can strengthen your paper for publication. And this is how we can make it valuable for our membership. And we'll work with you as long as it takes. And that's why I was saying some of these papers can take a year before they're published. Then it goes through revisions. There's a developmental editing process. And so if you're having trouble with the peer reviewer feedback, we'll assign an editor to work with you one-on-one who will help you get your paper ready for publication. There's a copy editing stage. I mentioned quirky Canadian spelling. We also do weird, we're kind of APA, but we're kind of a hybrid Canadian APA kind of way. There's the layout, my favorite part. And then there's actually the publication. And I still, to this day, get a thrill when I hit that publish button. And so there's an example of the BCTL right there. That's what it looks like when you pull it up on your page. But basically, that's our pathway to publication. And so if you're a TESOL affiliate and you're thinking about how do I start a journal, feel free to email BCTL, and there you go. That was 15 minutes exactly. Thank you very much.
Right in the nick of time. I was just about to say something, but then your timer went off, I suppose.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Scott. I think it was very, very informative, and maybe we'll need to have another session during the year where all the newsletter aficionados would like to come and talk with us, or people who would like to start a newsletter, because as you know, lots of newsletters maybe have faded out over the years, or they serve different purposes. So maybe it's worth having another session throughout the year. We'll talk about that.
I'm at your service. Just BCTL is
as always, with the smile and the loud voice, you just make everybody happy. Thank you so much. All right,
You're
so
welcome.
we don't have a lot of time, but are there any questions you would like to ask any of our speakers, Amira, Amany, or Scott? If there's a question you would like to ask, now would be the time, or you can ask in the chat box and our speakers will get to you, because we have 1 more minute to go to our next session. Oh, there is a question from Deborah Short, I think. Deborah Healy, sorry. Scott, how hard do you have to work to get submissions?
So I have a bit of a reputation in British Columbia. Everybody I meet is asked to submit. You do not escape. But we're doing well. Our goal is to publish 6 articles per year, and we've exceeded our numbers every year. Because anyone, so whether you're a Canada 1 Tier 1 research chair at the University of British Columbia, or you're a language instruction to newcomers teacher, like a local teacher to newcomers, we're all equal, and you're all welcome to publish in the journal. And so we actually do get quite a few applications, and they're in various stages of publication.
Great, and I'm just going to catch up on the last question. It's Barbara that is asking, would you be willing to mentor a new affiliate to start a project like this?
Yeah, so maybe mentor's a strong word, but I'm happy to chat and hang out and tell you what we did. Of course, this worked in the British Columbia context. It might not replicate in other contexts, but is that how we say that? But anyway, but I'm happy to share with you what we did and maybe brainstorm how it would work in your affiliate.
Great. Thank you very much. I think this is the wrap up of the Colloquium for now. Thank you very much to our speakers. Amira, Amany, and Scott, of course, thank you so much. And we hope that the discussions continue. And we will continue with the next session in 1 minute. I'll give you a break of 1 minute.